What's the word? Final word, that is. I am your host, Brandon Scoopy Robinson, and I'm joined by Suns broadcaster Tom Leander and the most famous active player in the NBA Finals named Dario Melendez in the building as well. And the big story right away, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 41 points in the 120-100 Milwaukee Bucks win last night. The Suns take a 2-1 lead in the series. But gentlemen, was the Greek Freak as advertised?
Tom,
I'll jump
first?
in. Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, we're used to seeing that Giannis. We're not used to seeing him hit 13 of 17 from the free throw line. So his aggression is different when he attacks the basket and has the confidence that he can step to the free throw line and make them. Now, he didn't have 16 or 17,000 Suns fans counting down from 10. So, you know, he's got a lot more support, more confidence. He seemed very relaxed at the free throw line. And his makes were like dead center too. It wasn't like, you know, rattling around. So that's a huge difference, because you guys know they're players that try to avoid contact, avoid getting passes underneath the basket when they don't want to go to the free throw line. That was a different Giannis, and the Suns have to come up with a better strategy. They obviously used a lot of zone yesterday. So they're going to have, they're missing some bodies. Certainly Dario Saric is another one that can eat up some minutes, and DA getting in foul trouble, Ayton in foul trouble really hurt the Suns.
Yeah, from January on, Giannis has actually been pretty darn good at the free throw line. I think you're exactly right. This counting down, I understand he says it doesn't get to him, but it gets to him a little bit because we saw toward the end of the season, his free throw, not that it was automatic, but it was getting darn close there, and that's what we saw yesterday. But I think you hit the nail on the head, Tom. The key to this series for me is going to be DA. DeAndre Ayton is the linchpin for both sides. If he's in the game and he's not in foul trouble, the Bucks are going to have their hands full on the offensive boards, trying to get easy buckets of paint on the defensive end. But if he's not in there, the Suns are going to have a hard time with all the size that the Bucks have. And you could tell that was their game plan from the get-go. Attack DA, get him out of the game, play bully ball. And that's what they did in game 3.
41 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists. Some have said that he's Michael Jordan-like. He actually addressed that after the game last night.
Michael Jordan had 4 straight 40-point games against the Suns in the NBA Finals.
I'm not Michael Jordan.
Is that in jeopardy?
I'm not Michael Jordan. 40 points in a straight 2.
4 in a row.
Yeah, I've never. No, I'm not Michael Jordan. But you know, all I care about right now it's getting one more. That's all. You know, just take care of business, doing our job.
Sometimes I dream that he is me. DeAndre Ayton, 18 points and 9 rebounds in last night's win. Did get into some foul trouble, however. He also added 2 steals in that game. What do you guys think of his game last night? We'll start with you, Mr. Leander.
Well, I thought he played great. He and Chris Paul came out really sharp. I mean, I'm watching at home, and my wife's telling me to keep it down because I'm scaring the dogs. I'm jumping up and down going, man, these guys, the Suns, look really, really good. They look poised and calm, and DA was aggressive. And again, taking him off the floor, that led to the offensive rebounding for the Bucks. And so the game totally changed when DA wasn't out there. And I was surprised Monty Williams didn't go back to him a little bit sooner, because it was obvious that the Suns could not contain these Bucks as they were crashing the offensive glass. We mentioned Portis, PJ Tucker's a big body in there, and obviously Giannis. So that definitely hurt the Suns.
Yeah, Chris Paul.
Go ahead, Scoopsby.
Gentlemen first.
No, I was just gonna piggyback off what Tom was saying. Like, yeah, I was surprised he had 3 fouls early. You get that 5th foul in the 4th quarter, that's gonna happen. But that was the Bucks' game plan, as I mentioned before, and you could see how it was developing. They were trying to overcompensate the Suns in the paint, and that led to wide open 3-pointers for the Bucks in that 3rd, 4th quarter. So look, it was a really good game plan by Coach Bud. I think this is what he's been trying to do. But the issue was the Bucks weren't hitting threes in games 1 and 2. So it doesn't matter how much you want to score in the paint. If you can't hit from the outside and make guys respect you a little bit more, it's not going to matter who's in the game. But yesterday was the game plan that we saw Coach Bud trying to implement the entire time, and it finally worked out because guys were hitting their threes.
Let me jump in real quick too, because Dario, I'm glad you brought that up. That was the Coach Bud that I remember with the Atlanta Hawks. They had some of the best ball movement, body movement. I haven't seen that many times with this Bucks over the past couple of years. I'm like, where is that Coach Bud system? That returned with a fury last night.
Yeah.
And Tom, they were running double screens. They were running drag screens. That's something that had been their Achilles heel all season long. And we hadn't seen that. It's just been a lot of ISO ball. And I think something happened in that Hawks series in game 5 and 6 that kind of sparked Bud a little bit more when Giannis wasn't there. It's like, we got guys that can play, man. Like, let everybody play some good basketball, get some good movement. And we saw that come to fruition yesterday in game 3. Now, we all know how good the Suns are. We all know how good the Bucks are. It's just, I'm glad it's not a sweep. I'm glad the Bucks took care of business at home because no one wants to. Well, the Suns want to sweep, but you want good basketball to be played, and that's what happened.
Taking care of business is definitely what the Bucks did last night in 120-100 win last night. Not only did Giannis have 41 points, PJ Tucker, we missed him a little bit, but Brook Lopez came alive, 11 points in 21 minutes. He was soaring in the air a little bit. I thought he was a guard for a second, but to keep it Phoenix Suns for a minute, Chris Paul, he dropped 19 points and totaled 9 assists last night, and he actually talked about DeAndre Ayton and protecting him last night. Here's what he said after the game.
Keep playing. You know, sometimes you're going to get a good whistle. Sometimes you're going to get a bad whistle. But he's playing hard. You know what I mean? That's a talent in itself. And then it's tough, man. Giannis coming at you full speed like a running back. You know what I mean? So he's trying to put his hands up. But it's tough. I mean, he's a big part of our team. Especially, he's the anchor of our defense. You know what I mean? I feel like any team would love for him not to be on the court offensively and defensively. So, yeah, we got to protect him better, you know, and make sure that we're showing that wall.
Now, you saw Devin Booker sitting next to Chris Paul in that game. I was surprised looking at the stat sheet last night. You just assume he dropped 20 points, 30 points, 10 points, 6 rebounds in 29 minutes of action for Devin Booker. You surprised by this, Tom?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he was as quiet in the game as he was sitting next to Chris Paul during that press conference. That was a playoff low for Devin Booker, and you won't see that in back-to-back games. It's going to be a different Devin. And Monty sat him. I mean, I don't even think he played in the fourth quarter. Monty said, all right, this is going to be a learning lesson for you. We're going to take some of the stress off your body. Some people are saying, oh, you know, give them a break. I'm like, well, they've got 2 days in between games. So I think it was more of a mental reset for Devin. Obviously, Monty saw something in him, maybe lacking. I mean, he's never lacked confidence, lacking aggression. But I don't expect to see that same Devin Booker. He's just been fantastic all season, all playoffs. He's going for at least 30 in the next one.
He talked about it after the game last night. Here's what he said.
Wasn't well, obviously. But, you know, there's nights like that. And, you know, the most important part to me is winning the game, and we didn't do that. So, you know, I'm more frustrated about that. But we have a few days off here. We're going to get back right. Going to go over film and be ready Wednesday.
Tell you what, Drew Holiday, I think you heard of him, Dario. 21 points. 9 assists, couple threes. What did you think of that game last night? Because last 2 games, missing layups, scoring 10 points, coming of age last night. What say you, Dario?
The Bucks had some fatigue issues in the first 2 games, and the Suns took full advantage. I know Tom just mentioned they get 2 days off. Now, that plays in the right there because now you can empty the tank every game. I don't know if you want that if you're any team. But Drew Holiday and PJ Tucker looked phenomenal in game 3. Drew Holiday offensively, but I think the reason why he struggled so much was because he got a full taste of what PJ Tucker can do. I mean, ask Kevin Durant how that feels. I mean, Kevin Durant got his buckets, but he was dog tired. And look, Devin Booker, one of the best superstars in the game. I mean, superstars. He is legit. But he's going to get a nice handful of PJ Tucker the rest of this series. That's going to be the biggest adjustment Coach Bud's made, putting PJ Tucker on Devin Booker and putting Drew Holiday on Chris Paul. Drew Holiday was great. And then offensively, this is the Drew Holiday we've seen since the All-Star break. A double-double machine, a guy that can get to his point on the court whenever he wants to and make threes. The biggest thing was these weren't contested threes. These were wide open shots that the Bucks were creating which is exactly what Bud's been wanting to try to do, wanting to try to get out of his team for 2 games, and for some reason wasn't clicking, but it clicked in game 3.
Bobby Portis was doing the shmoney dance last night. 11 points, 8 rebounds. The man was revived last night. I was a little scared in game 2 because what was it, like 2 points in 5 minutes, 11 points, 8 rebounds. Do you think this has to continue in order for the Bucks to steal another win at home in game 4? Dario?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Portis is a big key. Him and PJ Tucker are the emotional liaisons, let's say. Like, they are the heartbeat of this team. Giannis is going to be the guy that's going to get the points. Drew and Chris Middleton are going to be the Robins to Giannis's Batman. But the guys that stir the drink are Bobby Portis and PJ Tucker. And we saw how good Bobby Portis can be just from an intensity standpoint. Because, look, Jay Crowder's like that. Jay Crowder is a beast. Chris Paul is feisty. Torrey Craig is a feisty guy. The Bucks don't really have that until you get PJ Tucker and Bobby Portis on the court, and you saw what happened.
Mr.
Yeah,
Leander,
he was a plus 19 in 18 minutes. So, I'm not a big plus minus guy. Plus, pretty much every Bucks player was a plus 17 or better. But definitely Bobby Portis and Dario, you nailed it. I mean, you can just see it. He is that emotional fire for this team. He pumps them up. And I think when Giannis was out for those couple games against the Atlanta Hawks, extra minutes for Bobby, playoff minutes are totally different from the regular season. I know he had success then, but having that success against the Atlanta Hawks, now you're seeing that carry over against the Suns.
Bobby Portis and his energy was infectious, and he addressed that after last night's game.
Just going out there being who I am every day. It's fun playing this game. Being from where I'm from Arkansas, man, we can only dream of playing in the NBA Finals. So I think it's just vital that I just give it my all and, just put forth everything I have out there. With potentially only 4 games left, I mean, there's nothing to hold back. We need to just give it all I have and just bring some energy to the game. I'm a guy that is an energy guy. That's one thing I can help a team with, whether I'm making shots or not. I still play as hard as I can. So I just think that's just went well tonight.
Arkansas, somewhere, Joe Johnson, Scottie Pippen, and Bill Clinton are smiling. He's representing Arkansas proud. What adjustments do both teams need to make heading into game 4? Starting with you, Tom, the Suns, what do they need to be doing?
Well, it's interesting just listening to Bobby Portis right now. He is basically the version for the Bucks that the Suns have in Cameron Payne. Cameron Payne, when he lights up the court, his teammates, he has that same energy, and I think they need a little bit more out of him coming in off the bench. Obviously, we're not going to see Dario Saric coming back for the Suns, so they're going to have some answers for that bully ball that the Bucks had crashing the glass interior paint points by Giannis. So I think adjustment-wise, the Suns tried the zone. I don't think it was all that effective. It leaves those three-point shooters wide open. I think everybody uses that term, pick your poison. You've got to try to limit the points in the paint and then close out on threes and really just kind of pray that Drew Holiday is not going to start sticking threes like he did. PJ Tucker hitting his corner threes, because it's one or the other with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Dario, what do the Bucks need to do for game 4?
Repeat what they did in game 3, and it's a sustainable thing. They didn't do anything they didn't really do in the regular season. It's dominate the paint, which they have a massive advantage in, especially if DA's out, and guard the corner 3. That's something they did not do in game 2, and the Suns exposed them. They did it pretty well in game 3 and forced the Suns into taking difficult shots. And look, this is a good Suns team. They're a good shooting team. You make them take difficult shots, you'll live and die with the consequences. But if you continue to do what you did in game 3, which is put DA in some difficult positions, force them to get out of the game, dominate the paint, and force the Suns to play your brand of basketball, we might be heading back to Phoenix too.
I'm pulling a Mike D'Antoni, 15 seconds or less for both of you. Which player should we all be watching for in game 4?
Mikal Bridges. Whenever he scores 16, 18 points, the Suns win every single time. He had 4 last night.
Dario?
DeAndre Ayton. If he's in the game, it could be a close game. If he's out of the game, Bucks are going to take advantage.
And how important is game 4 for both teams?
It's not as critical for the Suns as it is for the Bucks. The Suns can go back to Phoenix 2-2. Milwaukee can't go back to Phoenix down 3-1.
Yeah, I think it's critical for the Suns, man. You don't want to go back to Phoenix down tied at 2, knowing that if you go back to Milwaukee, you're probably going to lose, or you have a good chance of losing. I just can't wait for Game 4. Can we get to Game 4 right?
You heard it first.
I want Game 4. I want Game 4.
Hercules. You heard it first.
There we go. Nutty Professor. Thanks, Scoop Speed.
We're here. Yes, sir. Listen, we got to run. For all those watching right now, make sure that you check out the replay of this on our YouTube channels. Also follow Bally Sports Network on Twitter, Bally Sports Arizona, Bally Sports Wisconsin. And more importantly, Dario and Tom, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you all later this week.